Can Haaland help the worst team in the Premier League become the best team in the Premier League? Today, I will be finding out that question. So I got Haaland to pack his bags and relocate himself to Wolverhampton, as this season Wolves were doing horrendously. Currently, they are sitting in last place in the Premier League, which is absolutely mental because they finished mid-table last season. And then I checked the team and I was actually genuinely baffled how they were in last place, with players like Neto, Ruben Neves and Diego Costa. Either way, I stuck Haaland right up top and got into our first game. And this was against Fulham, and it didn't take long for Haaland to score his first goal. One of Fulham's centre-backs were napping at the back. Haaland was able to snatch the ball and then smash it top bins. And then Haaland goes and scores again in the 61st minute from a Ruben Neves corner. I mean, Fulham did get one back in the 83rd minute, but we did still manage to win 2-1. So with our first win on our belt, we actually moved to our second game against Leeds, which again, Haaland scored to make it a 1-0 win away from home. Our next game was a tough one though. It was Spurs away. I decided to play it and I'm glad I did. We actually take the lead from a Haaland tap-in. At this point, I was loving Haaland until he cropped a Spurs player and literally, he got red carded.
What are you doing?
Either way, we managed to push on and score a second goal with Diego Costa. They did get one back with Heung-min Son, but it did not matter because we still won 2-1. I then see him the Crystal Palace, Newcastle and Nottingham Forest game. In the Crystal Palace game, we won 4-0 from 4 Erling Haaland goals. Yes, we did lose to Newcastle 3-1, but then we did bounce back with Nottingham Forest by beating them 2-1. And to make it even better, Erling Haaland did score both of those goals. I then looked at my September and saw Aston Villa, Leicester and Crystal Palace. I simmed all three and I kind of wish I didn't. The Villa game ended 0-0. The Leicester game ended 3-3, but I blame Semedo for that because he literally got red card in the first minute. But then the Crystal Palace game was solid because we beat them 6-1. Pedro Neto got a hat-trick, Ruben Neves scored a pen and Haaland scored in the 82nd minute. The next game was a big kahuna. We went to Old Trafford to play Manchester United and they actually take the lead from a Bruno Fernandes goal. We literally had no chance in this game, so I actually thought I'd push up a notch and go into ultra attacking. And yeah, well, you can see it didn't work out well. Ronaldo scores to make it 2-0 and that's how it ended. The next game I had was actually Brentford at home, which I actually drew. I wasn't too pleased with that, but I couldn't dwell because my next game was against Liverpool. At the time, we both had 18 points, so we were neck and neck in the league. So I went into this game searching for a win. And we do strike first with a Ruben Neves pile driver from outside the box. Liverpool did not give up though. They had so many good chances, but Jose Sar's goal was quality. But in the 93rd minute, we couldn't keep him out. An absolute cluster inside the box ended up with Firmino scoring, making it 1-0. I was absolutely furious, if you can see from like the mouse moving I was doing.
Oh, knock it on the head.
But it is what it is, we moved on to the next game. But then I looked at my next two fixtures and my stress continued. We had Arsenal away and City at home and I just wasn't prepared for this. Arsenal take the lead from Saka running through my defence like they're not even there and scoring. But then we do equalise from an Erling Haaland special. It was the 80th minute at this point and I was fearing for my life. I wanted the win, but I also didn't want to lose. And unfortunately, the latter decides to happen when Jesus gets free and scores in the last couple minutes of the game, making the game end 2-1 to Arsenal. Again, you can tell by the fury and anger from my mouse.
We don't care.
At this point, I was looking at my October and I was like, this is the worst October I have ever had. Literally 2 draws and 2 losses. How can it get any worse? Oh wait, I forgot. I've got City next. But you know what? I was actually too negative because we actually go score in the 6th minute from an absolute pile driver from Neto. And you know what? Nothing else happens in the game and we actually win 1-0 against Man City. Honestly, I was as shocked as you guys are right now. And with that newfound confidence, I actually simmed the Southampton game thinking I'd probably win it. And somehow we lose 1-0. After the Saints game, we played Brighton away, which we actually won 3-1. Haaland scoring 2 goals and Jimenez scoring 1. We then had MK Dons in the Carabao Cup and we beat them 5-1. And then after that, we played the toughest game out of the 3, which was against Chelsea. We managed to score with Haaland at the start, but then Koulibaly scored, then Havertz scored, and then we scored an own goal with Jose Sarr, so we lost 3-1. We then had Borough in the next round of the Carabao Cup, and somehow we actually lose that 2-1. They score first, then we score with Haaland, but then they score again, and that's all she wrote. But then after that, we did have 2 really good games against Everton and West Ham, where we beat Everton 3-0 and beat West Ham 4-1. After that game, I checked to see who was the top goal scorer in the Premier League, and to my surprise, it was Haaland with 14 goals. But he was tying with Gabriel Jesus, who also had 14, but he did do it in less minutes, so you know what, I'm gonna say he's winning. Also, after those games, we actually did move up a position. We went up to 6th place now, just above Newcastle, and we tightened that Champions League gap to only 4 points. Not only that, Haaland also won Footballer of the Year, which is absolutely nuts because he beat the likes of Benzema, who's obviously a Ballon d'Or winner. Then we went on to our next game against Bournemouth, and we beat them 2-1, which was a great result. After that, we played Brighton, who we absolutely demolished. Haaland scored a hat-trick in 27 minutes. And our streak continued because our next game was against Crystal Palace and we beat them 4-2 with Haaland scoring all 4 of the goals. And after that game, I needed to check to see how many goals he had in the Premier League. And he had 18 goals in 19 games, which was actually 2 more than Marcus Rashford, who had 16. The man was having an incredible season. And after 20 games, we had 37 points. We were breaking away from Chelsea, who had 33, but we were still chasing Liverpool, who had 39 points. And they were in in our Champions League spot, so we really needed them to slip up. And to my delight, we actually do go 1-0 up with Adama Traore scoring. We then completely steer the boat away from Newcastle by scoring a second, and then in the second half, Neto comes in and slots one away to make it 3-0. They do get one back with Wilson, but then we score 2 more, and the game ends a whopping 5-1. The next game was against second place Man City, and they take the lead with an absolute thunderstrike from Grealish. We do get one back with Haaland snatching it off a defender, but then they take the lead again with Mahrez scoring, but then we do equalise with Adama Traore scoring in the 70th minute. But you know what, it was not meant to be, because in the 90+4 they go score with Gabriel Barbosa, making it 3-2. Honestly, could not believe it. It was actually heartbreaking. After that City game, I kind of just got pissed off and actually simmed the next 3 games. I played the FA Cup 4th round and beat Newcastle 3-1, but the games against Man City and Bournemouth, I both lost 2-1. So the game against Leeds, I made sure I actually played. And it started off good with Haaland scoring a header in the 4th minute. We then go 2-0 up with a Ruben Neves goal, but Leeds were not broken yet. They actually do score to make it 2-1, but then we do break their dreams in the second half when Diego Costa scores. And the game ended 3-2 to us. After 24 games in the league, Haaland had 25 goals. He had 3 more than Rashford and 6 more than Gabriel Jesus. After I checked the stats, I had Arsenal in the 5th round of the FA Cup. I simmed it because I could not be bothered with the FA Cup and we lost it 3-1. But I was not too bothered about the result because my main focus was on the Premier League. And the next game I had was in the Premier League and it was against Fulham and I played it. And I really wish I did not play this game. I mean, honestly, I absolutely got trashed. Fulham played like prime Barcelona. I don't know what they were drinking in the water of West London, but for some reason they just did incredible. And they beat us 6-0 in the end. It was disgusting. I don't know how we lost so badly.
I am a fucking idiot.
After that shocker, I could not sim another game. I had to play the next game and it was against West Ham. And things weren't getting better in this game because they actually go 1-0 up in like a minute. But we equalised literally straight after with a Haaland goal. And at this point, this game just became goals. And they score again literally straight after. And then we score again with Haaland straight after that. And then we take the lead, scoring a hat-trick with Haaland in literally 16 minutes. And then the floodgates just opened in the West Ham defence as Ruben Neves scores a lovely free kick. And then Guedes scores in the 43rd minute to make it 5-2. West Ham do get one more, but it ends 5-3. The game after that was another London club and it was actually against Spurs. They go 1-0 up because Semedo cannot defend and Son gets the ball and just scores. But then we do get back in this game with Haaland scoring to equalise and then Guedes scoring to take the lead. And then we extend our lead with Haaland scoring again, making it 3-1. And that is how the game ended. And for the 4th game in the row, we actually play another London club. Like, what are the odds, honestly? And it's Arsenal this time. And they are coming into this game with really good form. But that did not matter to us. We actually do go 1-0 up with Haaland. And then he gets a second almost instantly, making it 2-0. At this point, I did feel really confident, but they did get a goal back. But then we did get a third because Haaland did score a hat-trick just before half-time. Then in the second half, we scored 2 more goals and it actually ended 5-1 to us. Obviously, after those 4 goals Haaland scored against Arsenal, I had to check the goal-scoring record. And the man had 34 goals in 29 games. He had 9 more goals in second place, who was Rashford. It was actually unbelievable how well he was doing. Haaland was literally 1 goal away from being the highest goal scorer in a Premier League season, as the record is held by Andy Cole and Alan Shearer, who both have 34 goals. Another thing that was interesting, looking at the league table, we were so close to getting Champions League football. It was literally a fight between Chelsea, me and Arsenal. After 30 games, me and Chelsea were on 55 points and Arsenal had 57. It was literally a battle to see who could do the best in the last 8 games. The next 2 games I played were against Brighton, who I actually beat 3-0, and then Brentford, who I actually beat 4-2. Everything was looking good until I got to this Liverpool game, and it was a tough one. And we actually go 1-0 up from who else but the main guy, Haaland. But they do equalise straight away from Virgil van Dijk scoring a header. Liverpool then go 2-1 up with Trent passing it to Nunez, and that is actually how it ended as well. With that being said, we were actually still in a good position. After 33 games, we were actually in 4th place. We were in a Champions League spot. Arsenal had dropped to 6th, and Chelsea were in 5th. After that Liverpool loss, I played against Nottingham Forest, and I actually beat them 2-0. And then the game after that, I actually played Leicester, and they beat me 2-0. And with that loss, it actually took me out of the Champions League places. So with this next game against Everton, I made sure I played it. But this was actually a tough game because Everton actually scored 3 goals, making it a tie game. We do score again with Haaland, making it 4-3, but then they score again, making it 4-all. And that is how the game ended. And that was really frustrating because it actually took us down to 6th place. And with that being said, it meant these last 2 games were crucial. The first one was against Aston Villa, and we take the lead with Haaland. We then score another with Haaland, and it ends 2-0. And after that game, the live update for the league still showed that we were not going to get Champions League. Chelsea had 1 more point than us. We had the hope that Chelsea were going to lose against Tottenham in their last game and that we would beat Southampton. So I went into my last game and luckily we actually go 1-0 up with Pedro Neto scoring. And the boys knew how important it was because they actually go and score again. Southampton do get one back, but it doesn't matter because we actually still win the game. And after we had finished that game, it came up with the live results and we had got Champions League football. Meaning we finished on 71 points and Chelsea finished on 70. I also checked the top goal scorers record again. And as I expected, Haaland had the most goals. The man got 44 goals in 37 games at the end of the season. He literally smashed Andy Cole and Alan Shearer's record to become the ultimate striker in the Premier League. Anyway, guys, that is the end of the challenge. If you want to see new challenges, please like and subscribe. It'd be much appreciated. And if you have any ideas of challenges I can do, please comment down below. It'd be much appreciated as well. Anyway, guys, thanks for the support and thanks for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.